Hi guys, welcome back to 40 Plus and Unfiltered. So, no private pension. Am I buggered for the future or not? Well, I'm hoping not. With the careful planning, careful investments, and maybe savings, hopefully I'll be able to retire maybe by age 50, maybe 55, maybe a little bit later. Who knows? All depends on probably the choices, the economy, amongst many other things. But of course, at the same time, the retirement probably means different things to different people. I couldn't possibly imagine myself 50 or 55 just sitting on my bum doing nothing. This is not who I am. I always would want to do something and trying to find ways of bringing money as long as the health allows. So the other day when I talked about the pensions, the public pensions, okay, and the measly amount that they are, £230 and 25p. It's really, really ridiculous. So if it's a substitute to something that you already have, like a savings or equity in your house, that's, it's maybe okay. But of course, we can't really rely on that. And this is where my regret for private pension comes into play. But as I said, hopefully it's not too late. And some of you might wonder, like, why on earth would you not have a private pension? Because, well, everybody has. Well, in fact, there are many circumstances why people are not able to have or not able to make this decision to have a private pension. So to give you a vague idea of the my situation at the time then, basically I've graduated university at the age of 19. I studied business administration with marketing and law. And after spending tens of thousands on the courses at university, they always promise you that you're going to be able to get yourself a really well-paid job that is well suited to what you studied for the past 4 years. Well, in fact, this is of course not the truth, because when the people leave universities and I graduated from Brighton, you could imagine for the previous years all these good jobs that we've been promised already gone to the previous graduates. So when I came out from university at 19, I had no choice as to find the bottom of the level of jobs and work my way up. And I literally, guys, when I mean the bottom, I've done a golf sales over the phone, selling golf equipment. I did door-to-door sales, selling windows, and God knows what. All I did was a hard graft at the young age. So thereafter, okay, I found myself the estate agency job, which I did for a few years, and then I migrated to work for a small private company that I've been working for the past, at the time, then 8 or 9 years. So when you're in your 20s, okay, and you have qualifications, it doesn't necessarily represent that in your wages, because you have qualifications and the degree, it's not always relevant to the job they end up doing. And of course, in your 20s, they don't really pay you that much money. So at the same time as well, those days, the work pensions were not compulsory. So because the company I worked for was a private small company, there was no pension. Not until the last year before I left. So basically at that stage, there was no pension for me. And when you earn at that age, you basically, you spend your money how you spend your money. But at that age, we already had mortgages, and we're going through the stage where the mortgage rates were horrendous. And I mean horrendous. We paid something over £1,000 for a tiny little, like, one-bedroom house. We've gone through a lot of things. So paying in a private pension then yourself wasn't really an option, because we didn't think about it. We thought of just making sure the bills are paid, mortgages are paid, and of course we could lead our life, as you say. So thereafter, I had enough of working for the company, and basically I started my own. So by the age of 28, I started my own company. So even though that was a limited company, I could have started the pension. Okay, I could have started to pay the pension into myself from the company's expenses, because that was allowed. But I was so determined to make the company grow, because it was my own. It's like your little baby. You want your company to grow. So all I did, I just took a bare minimum to pay the bills and buy the food, and everything else was invested back into the company. So at the time, I thought that that company that I'm building and growing and been doing this for the 12 years would yield me my pension results, whether by selling the company or just then be able to take more money from this when it matures and just gets bigger. But unfortunately, life doesn't work like this. So unfortunately, 2020 came about, and as we know exactly what happened then, well, for us in this instance, actually two things happened. Obviously, the pandemic and the lockdown of the country, and I had a baby right slap bang in the middle of the pandemic. So you could imagine the effect that had on the business. Although we've been furloughed for whatever, I can't remember how many months now, and able to obviously take some money still, but you can imagine the business could no longer grow. In fact, the business was actually going downhill. And even after that, we're trying to recover. Again, we all know a lot of companies gone under since the 2020, and unfortunately mine is going the same way. But because they also had the child, they also made it harder to make choices or invest time in the business to grow it any further. So basically, cutting the long story short, having the child and having the 2020 situation basically put my business down the drain. So basically, to where I was aiming to have my business paying towards my future, once I chose to close it down, unfortunately, it didn't work out. So it was my own fault in a way for not setting up a private pension from my own company, because it could have easily been done. And I'm not saying, I would have been now rolling in the loads of money, but I would have had something behind me. But unfortunately, that just didn't happen. So that hopefully gives you an understanding why some people might just not have a private pensions, especially if you are self-employed as well. People probably just overlook that, because your aim, I think, if you start your own business, work for yourself, your aim is to really just to make sure that the business works. I could be wrong. Some people might have made the good decision and actually started their pensions because, well, it would have made sense. But to me, it just didn't. I didn't really think about it because nobody was predicting the 2020 scenario. Nobody was predicting that like 1/3 of the private businesses are going to be shutting down because, well, things changed. And we as people, as a country, nothing ever going to be the same. How we behave, our purchasing choices, our purchasing power is never going to be the same. Okay, so this changed a lot. But anyway, guys, that gives you an idea, an understanding, hopefully, why I do not have a private pension. But as I said, hopefully it's not too late. I still have some time, hopefully, to be able to rescue the situation. See, when I said to you, I had 1 year when I was working for the company that they started the pension. The pension I have with the Standard Life, it has like a £600 in it. But this was the work company pension. Okay, so basically, if I wanted to physically pay in something in it, I could. I have to do this as manually. I have to log on and do that. But the minimum they want for me to pay in is £250 a month. This is the horrendous amount of money to expect one person to put away in a private pension. Like now, things are really tough for many. Anyway, so I could open a different private pension, which I think I might do. Just looking at the figures, something really basic, because I'm still in two minds to see whether, and I want to do this I think, put my eggs not in one basket, but I want to invest some more in, say, premium bonds, some stocks and shares, some other stuff. I've got some crypto already. Again, I will probably share some information with you later on. But basically, putting a £25 a month in that pension over, say, 15 years will yield me like £10,000 or just under. See, that's better return than me just putting this in a savings with the 2%. But then, if suddenly I put this in, say, premium bonds, yes, your return is about 2 to 4%, depending on your winnings luck, if you wish. But there's always opportunity to win some money. So anyway, this is going to be a dilemma for me, and I will be sharing with you my choices. I will say I'm not a financial advisor. This is just going to be my steps I'm going to be making to make sure I have a diverse, call it portfolio of money. I think it's important to understand the rather than having all your eggs in one basket, you need to have your backup plans for your retirement. So if you do have a value in your property, that's absolutely brilliant. It's exactly what we want. Idea is we could probably sell a house and then live on whatever the profit is after we bought something smaller. But again, nobody knows. Okay, the interest rates all depends on that, whether people be buying or selling. The housing value might just totally plummet down. Nobody knows what's going to be happening. So to me, it's very important to have a different segments. I'm going to call them that, I think, for little financial gains, hopefully. So there we are. So I just wanted to share this with you because I know some people be like, oh my God, no private pension. How on earth? Well, there we are. Worked all my life and I do not have anything. Well, £600 in my work private pension, but that's that. So hopefully that answers your question. Please comment down below, guys. I can't be the only one. I'm surely there's a lot of people that work or worked all their lives but just don't have a private pension. It has to be. Anyway, hopefully, guys, you have enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe if you are into that kind of thing. I will be covering a little bit more of that subject on the top of everything else I cover on this kind of channel. This is a bit more of a sort of chatty one, a bit more open to what's currently happening and just a bit more open as a channel as me, really. It's more truth. So there we are. So if you do like this, don't forget subscribe. It's important for me to grow. Thumbs up. And thank you for watching. I shall see you in another video. Bye-bye.